Okay, hello everyone. So for the midterm review, you're going to end up with a folder on your Blackboard website that looks something like this. Inside of it will be 4 files. One will be called the exam review instructions, so I'm just going to open that up first. So for the midterm, you're going to be asked to do several of these things from this list. So you're going to draw a new building in Revit or modify an existing building in Revit. Make or modify wall types, floor types, and roof types. Create a wall sweep. Create callouts, create layouts and schedules. Modify tags such as door, window, and room tags. And annotate, or being familiar with the tag all command and knowing how to dimension a whole wall at once with openings and everything else with just one click. So these are things we've mostly already done. We're going to do a few more of them in this exercise and do some variations on it. And then we'll create the midterm exam will have a couple of these on it. So steps to complete this exercise. So open the provided Revit file, download and open Start RVT, and insert the parapet profile. So let's go to here, download the Start Revit file. So this is, as you can see, it's kind of a watered down version of the building we were just working on. I've kind of simplified a couple of elements in there, but otherwise the project is identical to what we had. So we have that. Now I'm going to download the parapet profile. Okay, I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to say insert, load family, parapet profile, hit open, and so now this is loaded into my drawing. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to open the drawing set that comes with it as well. So this is some of the stuff that we'll need to know to carry out this exercise. So we're going to be creating a wall schedule. I'll show you guys how to do that. Right now, we're going to focus on creating a wall sweep by adding this type of a cornice to the top of our wall type. So I'm going to go back to here, select this exterior wall, or just any exterior wall, doesn't matter which one. Okay, so now I have my wall type selected. I'm going to say edit type. Under structure, well, before we go to that, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this button here. We've never really used it in class, so I'm going to say preview, and usually it'll be set to this, so the floor plan view. Now I'm going to switch it up and go to the section view, and it's going to show me a vertical section now. And then I'm going to say under structure, edit. And once I do that, it gives me a whole bunch of options down here for different types of things I can do with the wall. And I'm going to do a sweep. So I'm going to click on sweep. And here it's going to say, what do you want to do? And I guess I could have loaded my profile from here as well. Could have found where my parapet was and loaded it, but I already have it. So I'm just going to say add, and for here I'm going to load parapet profile 0001 and apply. And so you can see it pops up in the wrong place. That's not really where we want it. We want it to be at the top and out here. So let's get going. So from base, I'm going to switch it to top. Hit apply. Now it's in here. Now I need to flip it. I need this nub to be on the outside. So I'm going to go from the side it's inserted. There's a couple of ways to do this, but this might be the easiest one. So you go from exterior to interior, apply, and it flips. And now I just need to move it from the inside face to the outside face. Now I think the wall is 748 millimeters, if I remember correctly. And I moved it in the wrong direction, so let's go minus, wrong side the interior, and we want the minus to be in here. So now let's try it. That looks pretty good. So now I'm just going to kind of become a yes man. I'm going to hit OK, OK, apply, OK, and we should get a wall sweep. So now if I look around my building, that thing sweeps around the entire thing. Now if I wanted to go further, and I could insert this thing as well. So what I could do for now is I can just click that and hit delete. And this isn't, I mean, there's no points I think awarded for this exam review, so you don't have to do all of this the way I'm doing it, but it's more just to give you a familiarity with using the tools you've already learned and using them in different ways so that you can deploy them in an exam type of situation. So let's just mess around and get that cap on top of the cornice that we developed as well. So I'm going to click, and it doesn't matter which wall, as long as it's the same wall type. Edit type. Back to here, edit, add a sweep. Now I'm going to add another profile. So let's add Michael's parapet precast cap. Apply. There it is at the bottom. So let's apply it to the top. Apply. Okay, now it looks okay. I can't do much here. I can't stretch it in this menu, but I could possibly edit it. So let's just apply this and head out. Okay, so it's probably already applied it. There it is, but it's just a little bit, I'm going to hit escape here. A little bit short. It's not quite lining up with the side. So I think what I'm going to do is click it. It's not quite what I wanted. I guess I could do it down here. Yeah, so this is a good thing to be familiar with what I'm about to show you. Here in your project browser, where it shows you your sheets and stuff like that, there's also a button that says families. And if I open that up, it should have something that says profiles, I'm guessing. Somewhere in here. Most likely under P. There we go, profiles. Parapet cap precast. I think that's Michael's thing. If we open it, yep, that's the 750mm one. Now, if I right click on this, it won't let me do anything with it. But if I right click on this, I can say edit. Now, I messed with this a little bit, and Michael has been thorough enough to actually set up some variables, so we don't actually have to extend this by hand. We can just go into here, and where it says wall width 750, so I can tell you the parapet that I designed is 280 wide, so I need to add 280mm to this, which gives us 1030. Hit apply. I'm just going to let the shape do what it wants. Say load into project and close. Yes. I'll call it this 1030 instead of 750. Now it may not update it because I think it still specs the 751. So I have to go back into our wall type, edit. Under here, edit, sweeps, and here maybe I can pick my 1031. There we go. 1030, apply. Ah, darn it, went the wrong way. So now I have to say, move it to 240, apply. And the reason I can say 240 instead of minus 240 is because this one is, if the side is the exterior instead of the interior. And I want to move it a bit more, so I'm going to give it, I don't know, another 25. Let's go 265. Maybe a bit more, 290. Sure. Hit OK. Apply and OK. Okay, so now you guys know how to do a wall sweep. In fact, you know how to do 2 wall sweeps. And there we go. So back to our instruction sheet. Open this. So we've done this. We skipped this one and we did the wall, sorry, this one, the wall sweeps. So let's go back to here. Modify wall types. Modify existing wall types to increase the size of concrete block to 300mm and replace metal studs to 22mm metal furring. So what I'm getting at in this one is just a different way of dealing with the structure in this building. The way it's done now is fine. It's actually makes a lot of sense because the easiest way to create a slope towards the middle of the roof is to slope the joists by 2%, and then you end up with a sloped roof exactly the way Michael drew it. The second easiest way, and they're sometimes comparable, you can interchange them, is to to basically make all the joists level, and then you work with the insulation manufacturer, you send them a drawing of your roof, and they will send you a bunch of numbered panels, insulation panels, that when you install them correctly, create a slope to every single drain. And so you basically, essentially the roof is flat, but the insulation is sloped. And so we're going to basically reconfigure this roof to be flat. Sorry, the joist will be flat and the insulation will be the sloped part. So, or we'll assume it is. So hide in view element, I'm going to hide this. And now the first thing it asks us to do is to change the wall type here. So I'm going to say, click it, I'm going to say edit type. So back into here, edit. And now it's saying for the concrete block, switch it from 190 to 300. And for the metal stud layer, switch it to 22 millimeters of metal furring. And now here we can go metal stud layer. I'm going to see if I have any furring. It might not be in here. So I'm going to, under here, materials library, sometimes it has a few more things. And there we go, it's already searched under this. And I believe that's furring. So I'm just going to hit this button in here, add materials to document. There we go. Apply and OK. And here, the finish 2 is going to be drywall, so I don't want that to say metal stud layer. I believe in here they call it gypsum. Maybe not. Oh, gypsum wallboard. Is it just slow? I guess it is. Let's hit OK. There we go. Hit OK. Okay, hit OK again. And so these walls are going to get quite a bit fatter now. A little bit fatter, I guess. And it looks like our cap and everything adjusted with it. And so the next thing I want to do, modify steel structure. Remove perimeter columns and footings. Okay, so we're gonna, you can read through this yourself and follow this step by step, but I'll give you the big idea. So the big idea here is that now that we have a 300 millimeter concrete block on the inside, it's extremely structural in its capabilities. It also adds more thermal mass onto the inside of the building, so we could maybe use sort of a radiant floor heating or some other type of heating method where the concrete soaks up a lot of heat. It's a bit more sustainable because then you can heat it, let's say at night when electricity is less used and there's a lot more of it available. So you draw less overall on the grid. Anyway, we can get into that later. But because it's structural, we don't need necessarily these beams to carry these joists anymore. We can just get rid of these beams and have the joists land right onto the concrete block. So all we really need is this central line of beams. So let's get started. Before we start deleting beams and stuff like that, I'd like to get to a structural drawing, which I don't have. I just have floor plans right now. So the way I can create structural drawings if I don't have them is go to view, and there's a button up here called plan views. I'm going to click that and say structural plan. I'm just going to hold down shift, click the bottom one, hit OK, and it should give me all of them now. Structural plans. So I'd like to be at the roof level, but I can't see my joists. My roof is in the way, so I'm going to select that, hide element. There we go. And now I'm just going to click this whole beam system and delete it. Click this one, delete it. Done. Now, while I'm here, I can click one of these columns. Nope. There we go. Right click, select all instances visible in view. So it's picked all of them now. But remember, I want to keep that central beam line. So I'm going to hold down shift, and you can see the little minus beside my cursor. I'm going to draw a window right across the middle, and it's going to deselect all of the middle columns, but keep all of the top columns and the bottom ones. And now I'm just going to hit delete, and they should, there we go, disappear. Let's do the same thing now in the 3D view with these beams. So, and this is just an example of how you can draw more quickly. So like in an exam situation, you know, oftentimes you know what you want to do. I'm just holding down shift here, by the way, and knocking, wait, what am I doing? Okay. And now I hit undo and I put my beams back in. Okay. My columns back in. Okay. Let's try that again. I was doing two things at once and I messed up. Select all instances in the entire project. And so now I'd like to deselect just the middle ones. So oftentimes you're working and you know what you want to get done, but you're just running out of time. So these type of methods could save you some time and get you drawing a bit more efficiently. So we now have our central beam line. Now the last thing I did, since I drew this, I know about this, so I can show it to you here. We have to raise these, select all instances. These guys are a bit lower than normal. As you can see here, they're offset minus 180. That was to create that slope, but since now we're doing a flat roof, and we're just going to assume the insulation is the slopey part, we can raise those back up. And so that looks pretty good, but now I need to get rid of, we don't need those pad footings at the bottom. In fact, that reminds me, we don't need the ones in the basement either. So let's go to the basement, same deal, click a column, select all instances visible in view. Now again, I want to deselect these middle guys. There we go, delete. And now I have these hooks in here left over. So I'm just going to hit tab to click it. No, it's not the topo surface. Yeah, it is the floor. So I'm going to say edit boundary. And so I could go around and kind of try to fix each one of these, but this, pull it in and hope, delete elements and so on and so forth. But that's going to take a while. Now I need to respect these pits for the elevator pit there, but otherwise, I'm just going to hold down control, grab all of this, grab all of that, and delete it. Now, grab my rectangle, start from the inside, go to here, and hit the check mark. Don't attach. Done. So that problem is now solved, but now I need to get rid of my pad footings on the bottom. So what I could do there is I could temporarily hide this topo surface, and once again, same trick as before, select all instances visible in view, hold down shift, unselect these guys, and do it. There we go. Now while we're down here, because we're changing the structure here, so we've removed the perimeter columns and footings, steel beams removed, we haven't shortened the interior walls yet, we haven't added the joists yet, but it does say here, modify footing size to 1000 by 450. So I'm going to go back to here, we have our footings, there we go, so I can go edit. Probably the right thing to do here before we just change it would be to duplicate it and say something like footing 1000 by 450. Okay, and here we just change it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0. It's not enough to change it just in the name, you have to change it in here as well. And so that one should have gotten bigger, but now I can click, well, let's see. Yes, this is the new kind of footing, so let's click this one, select all instances. It should just give me 3, and now I switch it to the new type of footing. So we've accomplished that as well. Now, what else do we need to do here? So let's shorten those interior walls, and then we'll put in our joists. So the idea, let me go to, okay, so the idea here is that we don't want the joists that are going across to interfere with these walls and have to go through them. So I'm just going to grab them. There's a few different wall types in there. Select all visible, and I'm going to say top offset, sorry, top constraint. We're going to set it to roof. minus 800, apply, and they should come down. Let's see what happens. There we go. Let's grab these ones. Select all instances visible in view. Roof level minus 800 and apply. There we go. 2 more wall types to go. This and the curtain walls. Curtain wall. Select all instances. Minus 800. Apply. And so now we have that done. We can do those joists. Now there's going to be one obvious question that comes up when we do them, and I'll try to explain my way through it. So we are ready to do these joists, and it gives us some instructions. So add 6 joists per bay. So we're going to do it differently. Before we had it spaced 1 meter apart. Now it's 6 per bay. Joist to span from structural exterior wall beam line running through the center of the building. Sorry, from the exterior wall to there. Joist will be level, so on and so forth. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Structure, Beam System. Okay. And now I'm going to select a rectangle. And so I want it to go, let me just get some more detail here. I don't really need to worry about this wall because my joists are going this way. So I don't need a joist over a structural wall. But I do need the joists to the top chord of the joists to land on this wall. So I'm going to start from the middle of the concrete block in this wall. And I'm going to go to the end of the beam line and go to the midpoint of the beam. I'd say about there. And hit that. Now the beam direction, right now it's this way. So I'm going to say beam direction, give it to me that way. And now the last thing I have to do is tell it how many beams. So instead of fixed distance at 1000, I'm going to say fixed number. And I want 6 beams per bay, but I've made my rectangle span all of the bays. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 bays at 6 beams per bay. That should be about 30 beams. And I think we can hit the check mark. There we go. Now, since I want to save time and be efficient, I'm going to click this, mirror, pick axis. We have this really convenient central grid line here. Flip it over that, and there's the rest. Now, one thing that might come into question here is like, okay, well, what do you do with these stairs that are technically fire exits? And you need a 2-hour fire separation. Well, we could add a fireproof ceiling in here that would keep out, that would maintain the enclosure, but there could be a legitimate issue brought up, which is that, well, the structure of the ceiling is held up by beams, joists, that are also spanning, so even if you fireproof them in here, they're still connecting structurally to the parts that where they're perhaps not fireproofed. And so if you have a fire out here, this steel gets chewy, breaks down, and by this breaking down, it also destroys this roof and defeats the purpose of that fire enclosure. So we would have to say something like these beams are completely fireproofed or something like that, so they carry that fireproofing throughout the entire length. So it's not perfect. It does need a bit of explanation or additional decisions to be made, but just, you know, again, we're practicing these skills to be able to modify things we've drawn, to do things differently, to do it quickly, like in an exam situation. And that's the main idea behind this. It's a legitimate roof, but it's not, the explanation isn't fully baked. It needs more decisions. So just letting you know that. Now, what else do we need to do here? Create a wall schedule. Okay, so last thing we need to do is a wall schedule. So I'm gonna unhide. I could unhide all this stuff. You guys know how to do that. I'm not gonna go crazy with that now. Okay, so let's go down to here. How would we do this? Yeah, so where are sheets? Close this stuff, close this stuff. Sheets. Okay. Actually, before I do a sheet, sure, let's go to a sheet. What am I saying here? Okay. So we can call it like A0 or something like that. A000. It's, I don't know, the cover sheet. So often on a drawing set you'll have like a cover sheet or a schedule sheet or something like that, and it might have like a 3D of the building, plus some wall schedules and all kinds of other notations and legends and schedules and stuff. So just to approximate what it could look like, we should probably do a better 3D than the one I'm about to dump into here, but we'll live with it. Okay, so we could make this a bit nice. Okay, well, we may as well make it nicer. So let's knock this out. Okay, this can get a little bit shorter. Sure, we can move this up here, assuming we're going to take up a bunch of space with schedules and stuff. When I'm in here, I think I could possibly just show one floor, so I could say orient to view, floor plan, main floor plan level. Didn't quite work out the way I wanted to. Maybe I have to do that in the 3D. Nope. Okay, so now I'm going to hold shift and yeah, this didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. This is messier than I wanted. Okay, I'm going to have to do this correctly now. So let's exit this and delete it. Alright, 3D view. So I guess I can continue with what I had there. I'm really just rotating. It's giving me this box where I can decide how much of the building I show. So I can always expand this box to show the whole building. I thought I could. What's going on here? Oh, this frame is a bit small. So let's expand that frame a bit. Okay. I'm surprised it shouldn't be showing my basement, because I thought I switched this. So let's try it again. What did I do here? Orient to view, floor plan, main floor level. Okay. Let's give ourselves a little bit of breathing room here. And now I'm just going to rotate this, holding the shift button and the circle scroll button. There we go. So now it's just the ground floor. I could probably make this look a bit better by unhiding our roof. Unhiding view element. Okay. Realistic. Why is it showing our... Okay. There we go. The joists aren't showing through it anymore. So I can rotate it, make it look a little bit nice. I can also perhaps add some, not sun path, but let's do some shading. Is that shading? Yes, it is, I think. I clicked it twice accidentally, I think. There we go, shading. Okay, so now we can go back to our sheet. Let's drop our 3D into there. Okay, I can probably shrink that down a bit. Sorry. Okay, let's move this. Okay. Holy smokes, this is not working out the way I wanted it to. Okay. There's still a few issues with this that I could mess around with, but it's not the point that I'm trying to show, so I'm going to stop wasting time on this. Like getting rid of this box and dealing with whatever reason these joists still appear to be showing. The really thing I wanted to show you is how to create what we have here. Not here. But up here. So wall schedule. So we already modified this wall, and you can modify as many as you want to get until you feel like you get the idea. But we've modified this one, so I'm going to put this one in. So the way I did this, I just went to here, and first I just put a title in. So I went to annotate, text, caps lock, wall, schedule. Oh, and I turned off caps lock. Way to go. Wall, schedule. Okay. And now that I've done that, I can probably go to 7mm or something bigger. Okay, that didn't work. Let's double click it. Perhaps now. Okay, I'm falling apart here at the end. We're doing okay till now. Okay, let's try this one more time. 7mm. There we go. I'm going to double click it. I'd like to give it a bit of extra formatting, so I'm just going to hit Control A to select everything. Make it bold, make it underlined. There we go. Now, how do I get this type of image? Well, I can go into my floor plans, main floor level, and I can go into here, let's say, and say annotate, view, call out. I can just do a small call out here, like that. Could even hide it if I didn't want it to show up in my view. Then I can go to sheets, call out, drop that into here. Okay, now it doesn't look great because it doesn't have a lot of detail in it, so I could double click on it. Let's stretch it out a bit first. Maybe we want to see a little bit more of it. And for more detail, I just go to Fine down here. Looks pretty good. It's fine. Now I can click on this. And when I do that, I have some options up here. So I can go to Viewport, whatever, no title. So I have a few options. One of them is no title. And I'm going to knock that title out. So I've got my wall. Still, I guess I have this frame on it, so I can knock that out. Okay. And now I can go to annotate, text. And for now, I just did it by writing up the anatomy of the wall. I thought I could switch this. Maybe I need to switch it before. So let's go to 3. Let's do 3.5. Okay. So I think it's something like 90 brick. Was it 35 airspace or whatever? 30, I don't know how much. You have to check it. 35 airspace, 300 insulation, I think. 300 concrete block. Now in an exam situation, the distances and the correctness of this text would matter. Gypsum wallboard. Here, because it's a practice, I guess I was implying it doesn't matter as much, but we should do it correctly. So, okay, let's do it correctly. Main floor. What is the anatomy of this wall? Uh, 90 brick, 60 airspace, 300 rigid insulation, and the rest looks pretty good. There's an air barrier there somewhere. Sure, we're going to focus on the airspace and just update that. Okay. So back down to our drawing here. And in here, 60 airspace. And so that's it. This is how we could create a wall schedule. And so you can, oh, and I should probably put in a title for it. So this is, we're calling it exterior wall type 1, I think. So EW1. And that I could also format a little bit. Give me one more letter. Not italics, bold. And underline, sure, why not? Exterior wall 1, EW1. There, looks pretty good. And so you can kind of play around with the layout a little bit, you know, bring them closer together, whatever you feel like. And you could add more and more and more wall types. And that's how you would set up a sheet or a legend for wall types. Okay, and that's about it. That's all we really had to knock out for this lesson. I trust that you guys know how to create layouts at this point since you did them in your drawing, in your exercise. This is simply a section with a call out for the entire footing, for the entire wall. You did several of these in your exercise, so I trust you know that as well. And once more, I'll just reiterate, these are the things some of the things you'll be asked to do. So most likely you'll be drawing a new building as opposed to modifying one. You'll be asked to create one or some of these wall, floor, and roof type. We will do a wall sweep, or sorry, again, these are all options of what could be on the exam. You may be asked to create a call out. You'll be asked to create some kind of layouts and schedule. Modify tags. So we did that in the previous exercise where we modified the rectangular window tag to a hexagon. And then, annotating. So tag all, stuff like that. I trust that you know how to do that. So like tag all windows, for instance. And this dimension and wall opening thing, I'll just show you now. So let's go to the main floor. Doesn't look like we have the windows tagged, so I could show you tag all right now too. So rather than taking a tag and kind of clicking individually on each one, make your life easy if you can. Go to tag all. And now, since you're doing everything at once, I would suggest take your time, read through your options. So we know we want the window. What do we want here? Number only or boxed? I think we want it boxed. And we want a leader. We want something pointing from the window to where the tag is. So let's hit OK. And that looks pretty good. Okay. Now dimensioning stuff. So let's say I want to dimension this wall. It's an exam situation. I'm running out of time, and now I'm like, so oops, that's not what I wanted. Annotate, aligned. Usually you start on, this is automatically set to individual reference, and you just dimension one thing at a time. And now, maybe you're running out of time saying, oh geez, I gotta do this really quickly. And it can get frustrating. You're really zooming in to catch every line that you make sure it's the right line. So maybe in that situation, just slow down a bit and do something that'll actually get you further ahead. So go to annotate, align dimension. Here, instead of individual reference, go entire wall. Now that on its own, if your options aren't configured properly, they're usually defaulted to this. Basically just pick the wall and it gives you one dimension, so that kind of sucks. You don't want that. So annotate, aligned. Let's go entire wall. Good, we already did that. Options. I want openings. Now when you click openings, it usually gives you, again, something you don't want, so centers. Now if you click that, it gives you the dimension to the center of every window, but that's not helpful. We want the width of every window. So Hopefully you get all this on the first shot and you don't do it as many times as I'm doing it, but options, centers, we want widths, and in some cases we also want the distance to the intersecting grid lines. So I'm going to hit OK, and bang, there's one wall. All the dimensions are done. Another one. Another one. And we're done. Okay, now you may want to zoom in a bit and kind of troubleshoot areas where it gets a little tight. I just click on that little dot as a grip, spread stuff out. There's a number of areas in which that happens probably. So maybe take a second and just zoom around and look for stuff like that. But otherwise, that's it. So that's the exercise. Our exam is next week, and see you then. Thank you very much for your time.